That is just so effing twisted, and it goes hand in hand what we were talking about.
Locked inside of a coffin-sized box for 7 years.
How can you kill your little sister?
Youngest serial killer in the world.
People of money and power can do these disgusting things and sometimes get away with it for much longer than they should have.
Used it as a trafficking system to get more children.
Being more involved in some of the crimes.
People were so close with Epstein and on his island.
Foreskin from a Korean baby.
He had something twisted in his mind where he thought he apparently had to kill his whole family to get into heaven. Come on, here you go. Go on mommy's lap.
Hi guys, welcome to Not Today's Society. My name is Bonnie.
And I'm Pat.
Today we're going to be going over some creepy videos.
Trying to say that together, it didn't work. I kind of jumped in, so I knew that wasn't going to work probably. But yeah, creepy videos. Not necessarily those like crazy, scary things, but
Just like
okay, the first thing says killer kids.
Okay.
So this is definitely going to be interesting. We're going to jump into this. If you enjoy this content, consider subscribing. We'll chat. Yo, Alexa, can Siri? No, Alexa, stop. This is Siri. Yo, I'm confusing myself.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Stop.
Done.
How did I just turn on? I'm not going to say the name. And then I thought it was my other one because I'm not going to say her name either. But I got the other one next to me, and then she started turning on. I'd be turning on all these girls, and then I got to turn them off. Oh, yeah. That was like, I said killer kids? Like, I don't know what I said.
I don't know.
Can we jump into this episode?
Let's go.
Let's go.
A 10-year-old serial killer. Viewer discretion is advised. This is Mary Bell, and she could easily be one of the most sadistic murderers in history, even though she was only 10 years old. Mary allegedly grew up being abused, and her mother would even sell her to other men at the age of 5. All of this abuse fueled this anger inside of her, and she had to find some sort of way to release it. On May 11th, 1968, Mary Bell was playing with a little 3-year-old toddler, and he mysteriously fell off of an air raid shelter. This was the start of her violent outrage. Just 2 weeks later, on March 25th, the boy Martin Brown's body was found dead inside of an abandoned building. It was later discovered that Mary lured this little boy into this abandoned building and strangled him with her bare hands. 2 years later, Mary then strangled a 3-year-old boy and carved the letter M into his stomach with a razor blade. And then she used scissors to cut and mutilate the body. Mary eventually confessed to this by writing notes because she was bragging about it, and the police arrested her. Here's the crazy thing. She was arrested and released just a couple years later, and today she could possibly still be alive. One of the terms for her confession was that after she was released, her name would be changed and everything. The latest information we have of her is pretty much she had a daughter when she got released, and nobody knows where she's at now. So what do you think? Do you think she should be forgiven because she was a child, or do you think that fire is still inside of her waiting to strike again? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and follow for more videos.
Yo, that is a messed
That was
up.
like a lot of information really quickly.
Midway through, I was asking you, in case someone else missed it, I was asking how old she was.
I
She
mean, they
caught
said 10,
Yeah, I missed.
but-
Okay, so 10 years
But then
old.
when they said she got out, she had a daughter? I don't know.
They were talking about like in the future because she was so young that they let her go. She had something wrong. Did it say her parents abused her?
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
usually
God.
what
The
happens,
parents
like, the-
abused her and the mother sold her.
That's disgusting. Yeah,
That-
5 years old or something.
Fucking horrible.
See,
And
kids like
then
that, they
that's-
need help, but they need help before it gets to the level that she got, where she went and let out all her anger and all the things in her
That's
head
just-
on a human person, on other kids.
She was tortured as a young girl, and that's how a lot of times killers, serial killers, what have you, are made. You know, sometimes they are born that way, and then sometimes they are made.
They have been through so much
And
traumatic events
I
that
can't
they don't
even
care anymore.
fathom how they abused her, and then the mother selling her to
At 5 years old, that's
men.
disgusting.
That's, you know,
It does
what
not
the
take
fuck
away.
do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, it doesn't take
you
away
know?
from what she did, though. It just shows you
No,
the connection.
she needs help though.
Yeah,
I
she needs
mean,
help.
if they locked her up, I don't know how old she was, but I feel like she definitely needed, a lot of therapy and help. So I'm hoping they did that. Like, I don't think she had to be locked up for the rest of her life.
At such a young age, her
It
brain
was
is still
very
developing.
violent crime.
Yes, but her
So
brain is still developing to the point where,
yes.
like, she can get help.
Yes.
Unlike an older person who's like, that is them
Yeah.
now, almost, I would say.
So
If you know about, like, I want to know more about her.
yes, I do.
If you know anything about an update on this girl, definitely drop a comment. If regardless, we're
You
gonna
know, and
do
I'm
some
not saying
research
like,
on it.
oh, she just needed therapy and that's it, because she literally mutilated little boys or whatever, like horrible things. So definitely needed punishment, but she needed help because she was tortured as a young
Herself.
kid herself. So, you know, it's like, where's that line? I don't know, but
Yeah,
she definitely needed help.
Yeah, she was like expressing it through. What
Again, it
was
reminds
done
me of the
through her.
Child of Rage.
Beth Thomas,
yeah.
which we have a video on her, and she's
So,
actually
and
doing
she
really
got
well
help,
right now.
and now
Yeah.
she's a therapist.
But I don't
so.
think she committed anything. I think she vocalized.
Okay.
Like, I want to kill this person. I want to do. I don't think she actually did it. Again, I might be
Yeah.
wrong, but I don't think she did any.
Yeah, I think she had violent tendencies,
Yes. I
but
don't think she acted on them. Or this
the
girl.
adoptive parents helped her.
Yep.
You know, the abuse with her was from her original parents.
Yep. This girl actually acted out on them, and it's
Yeah.
crazy that they don't know. No one knows like where she is. I definitely want to do some research and see if we can find out what's going on with
Hopefully
that.
she got help and
Yeah.
needed to change her name because of the violent crimes, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right. Next video.
Oof.
Just when I thought I heard about all the worst cults in history, this one had to come and blow them out of the water. This is Colonia Dignidad. They were a German torture cult hiding out in the Chilean wilderness after World War II, aka Yahtzees. And to show you how terrible they were, let me tell you a story. Now, as a quick reminder, if you want more info, you can check out the podcast. The leader of this cult was a known child abuser, and he wanted more Chilean boys to be brought to him. So he started a hospital in the community and used it as a trafficking system to get more children. One day, a young Chilean boy choked and was rushed to the hospital. And right when he got there, a nurse scooped him up, brought him to a room, and saved his life. But later that day, his sister arrived and asked a nurse when she could pick him up to take him home. And the nurse responded that they needed to monitor him for a few more days, which is pretty suspect in a choking case. So a few days later, she comes back and she's like, okay, can I get my brother? And the nurse tells her that he's not there anymore. And this is because the hospital had lawyers on staff that were drafting up adoption paperwork when young boys would come in. The cult was able to legally adopt boys in the community without the parents' consent, and the parents had not enough money to do anything about it. There are so many more stories about this place, and I had never heard of it before, so make sure you check out this week's episode for more info.
Wow.
That is scary. That is crazy. That is disgusting. So you got this dude who is using this establishment as a way to
hospital,
lure,
yeah.
like you're helping the kids, and then you're drafting up paperwork to
Yeah.
adopt them. I don't even know how that.
I don't even know how that's
do that.
legal. I
This
don't
was.
know what
It seems like
country
back in the. This seems like a long time ago from the photos and
Yeah.
everything.
I don't even know how that's possible. The sister tried to go pick up her brother after a choking incident, and they said, "Oh no, we need to."
He's not
that's
here.
odd to begin with.
Yeah.
No, they said we need to
Oh, yeah,
monitor,
monitor
him,
him, and then the next
that's
time-
when
yeah.
they drafted up the paperwork. And then unfortunately, these parents didn't have enough money to fight the
That's-
lawyers because this hospital had a team of lawyers.
That's
Oh
just-
my god!
It just shows we've
Did
talked
it
about
say
this.
what they were? They just were trying to make a cult of young boys.
The hospital, the guy was abusing. I think he said in the beginning. I
Yeah,
thought that's what they
I
said.
think- I
So he
thought
was
so.
using that as a way of
To get them.
lure and get the boys in, which is disgusting. And it just, we've talked about this in so many other aspects where people of money and power can do these disgusting things, and sometimes get away with it for much longer than they should have.
Yep.
And they can use, in like this guy, a hospital. You know what I mean? A place of usually safety.
Yeah.
Going there for
You
help
would
and
think
whatever.
you're okay bringing
Yeah.
your brother to a hospital.
It's just in this world, people with wealth and money in the wrong hands can do these crazy things,
Yeah.
and unfortunately get away for either ever or a lot longer than they should have. It's just crazy.
I just feel so bad for the families.
Yeah.
What are you eating over there?
We eat, depends, right? Like in the summertime we do eat more plants, but the thing is after June 1st, like end of May, a lot of plants become poisonous. So until then, poison level is not as high, so we can pretty much eat any plants if we want. Even tree leaves are fine. But after June 1st, we have to be a lot careful what mushroom that we pick up, what plants we eat. We eat a lot of, in the fall, we eat a lot of grasshoppers and a lot of bugs. And then in the winter is the time when we a lot of eat frozen, potatoes or a dried cabbage like that. And spring is where we die. We call spring is a season of death.
It is.
Because right before anything grows in nature, and winter time all our stock's gone, and it's hard to find even one single rat to eat in the spring.
It sounds like all of the food comes from what you grow, or talk about eating insects.
Mm-hmm.
Does the state provide any food?
Right, you cannot grow them because we cannot own a land. The land is a countries, right? The regimes is a collective farm. So we are forced to work in a collective farm all year, like 10 hours a day minimum. Then when the harvest comes, what they do, they come and take all the harvest away. They don't give it to the farmers. They give you maybe a little bit of like potatoes, and then what they do is like, this is a royalty grain. So you need to submit this grain to the government to show your royalty, otherwise you get punished. So this is thing called the royalty grain that we always have to give it to the regime, despite we don't have anything. And the regime determines that they decided somehow it's easy to do socialism when there are less people. And it's easy to control the population when they're starving. Because as a North Korean, all day you are thinking about is how I'm gonna find the next meal. If you make one day, you're not knowing if you're gonna make it tomorrow, right? So you're constantly just thinking about only finding food and surviving. Then regime knows that they don't need to worry about us because we are not gonna thinking about starting revolution.
Wow.
That is a crazy story.
Yeah, that
She must have
well,
been
I
somewhere...
noticed right away she looked super skinny. Like,
Yes.
I was like, what?
But she is dressed well. Like, I wonder if she's someone who survived that and is now, obviously, she's in an interview
Maybe
setting.
she left.
Yeah, like
So
she
that was
somehow
in
got...
Korea, I think. Is it at
At the end, it
Because
said
I was
North
wondering
Korea.
where. Okay.
Yeah, at the end, it said North Korea, and I have heard of the strictness of the government and everything. However, the system works over there, I don't know, but I just know everything is super strict. It's literally to the point where if you grow your own food on land, you can't have that food because the
Yeah,
land is owned.
You can't own the land.
So it's
So you
like,
have to give the food to the regime or whatever.
yeah, it's like you grow your own food, but it's not yours. Maybe you'll be lucky and they'll give you a little bit.
That's insane.
And that's why it's so scary when she said spring is a season of death because it's in between winter. And it's
Right,
like
so
before
that's-
things are grown, things are just, they're probably,
Yeah, the insects aren't around yet.
Yup, and all the food that they had is probably getting empty or emptying out all the food they had saved up. That's just a crazy way to live. It just reminds you of like ancient times, except she's making it sound like it's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know from you guys. Is this actually still happening in North Korea? Are people still living like that? Because that's pretty scary.
And it just living here or anywhere but those types of societies, I
Yeah.
guess, just we
Take
take
for
so
granted.
much for granted.
Yep.
Because we don't have to live in fear of not knowing where our next meal is.
Yeah.
That's really
That's crazy.
sad.
They're literally doing everything. Like I said, it's like ancient times, just trying to find food to survive. But you're in this
But it's, like,
modern era where
right
like
now.
you shouldn't have to
Yeah.
do that. That's insane. Definitely let us know if this is,
Yeah.
still going on in North Korea right now. 'cause
It
this
just
is a
makes us
crazy story.
feel grateful for where we
sure.
are, like
Yeah.
America is whatever, but we don't have to live like that.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Evidence that Earth is actually what some call a prison planet. In his book, Humans Are Not From Earth, Dr. Ellis Silver contends that humans are actually from another planet. They were brought here thousands of years ago and mated with Neanderthals. The hybrid species is us.
My thesis proposes that mankind did not evolve from native Earth organisms, but evolved elsewhere and was transported to Earth between 60,000 and 200,000 years ago. Mankind is supposedly the most highly developed species on the planet, yet is surprisingly unsuited and ill-equipped for Earth's environment.
The idea that extraterrestrials played a role in human history is also known as intervention theory. Dr. Silver argues that if humans actually evolved on Earth, we'd be much more comfortable with the environment. For example, humans are really the only animals that are susceptible to sunburn. Fish, reptiles, birds all have natural ultraviolet protection in their scales and feathers. Whales and dolphins have special skin cells that repair DNA damaged by UV radiation. Any mammal with fur is protected from ultraviolet rays, including apes. If we evolved from apes, why did we lose our hair? Evolution is supposed to make us stronger, not weaker.
That's so funny. It's like I
Yeah.
pointed to her halfway through. If you've seen a previous episode, if not, I'll try to link it. But she literally brought that up herself.
Yep. And this must have been the video I saw because it literally it was
It
the
touched the
exact
base.
examples that I gave of sunburn and why did we lose the hair? You know what I mean?
ability,
Like
we're
why
not-
are we the only people or mammal that
Primate, mammal, whatever the proper verbiage is, like we can't be outside and it's like we get sunburn. if it's too cold, hypothermia, all these things where all these other animals, even like a monkey, apes, whatever you want to say that we
should have evolved to be more, adaptable.
Yeah,
I
like
guess.
they can be outside in nature and survive. Us, like we said, can we? Well, we could, but we need to make a fire. We need to stand under shade. Like we need to do things to protect ourselves when other things have like protection built into them, so to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like I said previously in the other, when we were talking about this, like maybe we just got so conditioned, but it's just a little extreme. And, I've seen it many places. This is the one I think I got the idea from. And I'm like, wow, that does make sense.
Yeah. And then real quick, the first half of it talking about how, did he say aliens?
Yeah. He's saying that
Some
we
sort of,
did not evolve here.
Someone put us?
We were elsewhere and they brought us to Earth, and then we...
That's a crazy theory.
Yeah.
I've heard of that theory on other TikToks, I think, that I've came across.
That aliens made it.
Yeah, and
we're
just like,
experiment.
we're just like puppets in a game or whatever. Let us know what you think about that one.
Do you know all the scary things that have been happening at the Euphrates River?
What's going on there?
Okay, so the Euphrates River is actually located in the Middle East, and it's considered one of the longest rivers in the world, but it's actually drying up. Like, it's almost completely dry. But where the river's drying up, they're actually finding caves and different structures that have been under the river this entire time. But it's actually really scary that they're finding this.
I don't get what's so scary about that.
So what's crazy is the drying up of the Euphrates River is actually written in the Bible. And in the book of Revelations chapter 9:14 through 9:15, it says, "Release the 4 angels bound to the great river Euphrates." And then it says the angels were released to kill 1/3 of all mankind.
So what you're saying is when the river dries up, it's basically the end of the world.
Yeah, and just to put that number in perspective, 1/3 of the world is 2.6 billion people. And it's just super weird that they're finding all these caves under the Euphrates River.
But isn't it, it's already dry?
It's drying up. Like
it's
I think it
drying
should.
up. Okay,
it's
'cause you're
drying
saying
up.
once it dries,
so
all this is
2020 was, a big river,
Yeah.
and now 2022, I think it showed very dried up, and they're finding all these underground caves and whatnot. And I guess it goes hand in hand with the Bible of what he was saying.
Yes, that I don't know too much about. I'm not too surprised about the caves, to be honest, because you think about it, probably a long time ago, like way back, there probably wasn't that much water there, I'm assuming. And people probably built shelters and caves and whatever, and then water, kind of demolished it, but some of those structural places held intact. And now as it dries up, we're starting to see them again.
Yeah.
As far as the connection to the Bible and all that, unfortunately, I don't know too much deep into that, so I'm not too sure.
It's a little scary since it, supposedly they showed us in the Bible, it says once the river dries up, it's
it is
the end of
scary.
the world.
Yeah, when they have stuff in, let's say, the Bible or any other thing, if it's a different religion, if it has like a certain verbiage and then it starts happening in real life like that, of course, it's scary. Because it's like they wrote this such a long time ago and now it's happening.
Yeah.
So anytime that happens, it's definitely like a little scary, creepy aspect to it. Yeah, I've seen other videos about that, but they didn't go as in depth. So I'm happy this one, he actually went a little more in depth, kind of maybe understand a little bit more about it, but still don't know enough. So let us know your thoughts on that one.
You've probably come across intriguing images online, side-by-side comparisons of famous celebrities, and vintage black and white photos that bear an uncanny resemblance. These images have given rise to a peculiar theory, one that suggests a remarkable secret shared by these renowned individuals. Some refer to it as a hidden world, a mysterious practice. They say that behind the glamour and fame lies something extraordinary, something that defies the boundaries of human existence. Have you ever wondered why most celebrities seem to defy the aging process? Many argue that there's more to it than just genetics and a luxurious lifestyle. This theory posits that science, or perhaps something more enigmatic, is at play. Some even claim it involves a substance derived from young people's skin. We're all familiar with stem cells, often harnessed from plant sources in the cosmetic industry. But here's where the theory takes a curious turn.
I've had stem cells in the blood of a 2-year-old child injected into my skin and my face still looks like this.
You need to be using fetus blood, Eddie. A little spritz of afterbirth, darling.
And boost it, you look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the
What are you
serum.
pushing into the skin, Sarah?
Serum.
Sandra?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was a lot
Okay,
going
well,
on there.
she could not answer that question, and it looks like Ellen did.
So
weird. I was watching another video today, just actually a YouTube video on something else, and they brought up the same thing about foreskin on the face.
Really?
And,
That's what they use for injections and stuff?
I don't know. It's just so weird. I just remember we were eating and I was watching that video.
Okay,
and then there was something about the I don't know.
That's crazy. So like it started off with that whole doppelganger, which some of those were like uncanny, like the way they looked so real.
Yeah,
like
Nicolas
very
Cage and
doppelganger.
all of the ones at the
hardcore
beginning,
doppelganger.
very similar.
And then it went into the
But
aging
then it showed
process.
Halle Berry 2000 and 2022.
Yeah,
and
20
how the hell does
2000
she look the same?
It was a 20-year difference apparently, according. And she looked identical. She looked the same.
A lot
like,
of I mean,
yes, people
there's
do plastic surgery.
surgeries.
This,
there's all that stuff. But
I didn't know
this
that.
is the first thing where they're injecting some type of I don't know. What did she say? Korean
foreskin.
Yeah, like I heard that earlier today too.
That's crazy. So there's got to be some truth to that. This is like completely new to me. So definitely let us know. Drop a comment if you've heard about that. You could back that theory up because apparently she just came by another video today and we just got this video here. So that's kind of crazy.
A lot of weird things going on in this celebrity world.
Yes.
So.
Jeffrey Epstein, a name that sent shockwaves through the world when he was exposed for crimes we can't openly discuss here. His story made headlines, but not before years of whispers in the realm of conspiracy theories. The intriguing part? Back in the day, there were videos aimed at debunking those very accusations. You may wonder, where are those videos now? It's a mystery. But here's the real puzzle. Why haven't we seen a comprehensive investigation into all those closely connected to Epstein and his notorious island? Even more baffling, mainstream media outlets seem to turn a blind eye to Epstein's connections with high-ranking figures. The question begs, why isn't there more pressure on Epstein's associates? Some speculate that his ties to the public eye make this topic untouchable, that speaking up means facing dire consequences. Others go further, suggesting that Epstein had damning information on everyone in the industry, a darker underbelly to his empire. Let's delve deeper. How did Epstein manage to run such an operation on his mysterious island? How many were paid off to stay silent? Or worse, were they willingly involved? This transcends politics. Both sides see that something's amiss. Then there's the issue of corporate involvement. Why didn't companies blacklist Epstein sooner, when he was a registered offender well before the mainstream coverage? Victims intended to sue big banks, Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan Chase, alleging that they knowingly profited from Epstein's trafficking. They claimed that these banks chose profits over proper protocol, turning a blind eye to the pain inflicted. It's a story filled with unanswered questions, tangled webs of corruption, and a relentless pursuit of justice.
What did you know about him when you were meeting with him, as you've said yourself, in the hopes of raising money?
I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. He had relationships with people he said, would give to global health, which is a interest I have. Not nearly enough philanthropy goes in that direction. Those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. That goes back a long time ago now. So there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
And, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so, in general, you always have to be careful,
That's a lot of information.
Yes. It might have been the other episode with Epstein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's a Netflix documentary. Highly suggest you watch it if you don't know about Jeffrey Epstein. You go over a lot. But yeah.
So there was a lot of connection with very high-ranked
prolific
people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I said this earlier in this episode. I'm going to repeat it again. People with a lot of money and wealth are really good at hiding and getting away with bad things.
Literally getting
Like
away
this
with
is
murder.
yes, this is like a perfect another example of someone with extreme wealth. Like
So
I think
wait,
he owned that
got-
island, Epstein
I think,
Island.
Yes, Epstein Island. He
Mhm.
got arrested and then he died in jail.
I believe
or
he
prison?
hung himself. I think he
Yeah.
committed suicide in jail from more from
So,
recollection.
but like all these associates, I think
Bill
they
Gates,
showed
Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, so many
all of
high-
them, right?
went to his island. Did
There,
all-
no one else is investigating like if they had anything to do with what his island was about.
if they knew, if they committed those crimes, if they were willingly involved in some of these crimes. That interview with Bill Gates, I don't know.
That was weird.
I was about to say, like, I'm not like a psychologist or anything, but to me, it looks like he was holding something back. It looked like he didn't want to
the way he
admit
ended
something.
it too, and then
It
it
looked
did
like-
say like it started going in and out. They had it written on screen.
I think it was the visual, because the audio sounded clear. It might have been maybe the visual was. But when I watched that, I had the feeling
Something like he
that-
said, "Be careful" or something.
Oh no! At the
we
end,
have to be careful.
At the end, he said, "Well, he's dead. You know, we
Yeah.
got to be careful." Almost saying like, there are things I can't speak about." And it just his persona and the way she questioned and he answered, to me, seemed like he was holding something back, couldn't say
Yeah.
something, and just an example of possibly other folks being more involved in
If
some of the crimes.
people were so close with Epstein and on his island, they knew nothing
They
about
had
it.
to have.
Like, and
They
I don't
had
know
to have.
exactly who was there, but I'm just saying the people that they showed and mentioned. It's just crazy that okay, he's locked up and now he's dead. But all of his associates, they're just letting him be fucking president.
And it's just like, and it goes like two ways. It's either
It's not funny, but it's just like ridiculous.
It is.
I don't
it's
know.
crazy. It's either you might have been willingly involved, and now you're just like obviously on the hush hush, not saying anything, hoping no one comes to talk to you about it, or
Such a sensitive subject
Yeah,
too. I'm
or
sure
you were
all
s-
high ranked like judges and this and that were it's all corrupt.
Or-
all corrupt.
yes. So either you were willingly involved, and now you're obviously you don't want to get caught, or you were so scared that
You
for your
didn't
life,
say
that you
anything.
didn't want to. So those
Or
are the
they knew
two
what
things.
was going. Yeah, they either
Those are the two
involved
things.
or knew what was happening and didn't
And
say
too
anything, which is
scared.
just as bad.
Yeah.
You
Because
know.
of their own life. But that's where things get iffy. It's like if your life is at risk, it's like, yeah, you might go help, and now you're like, I
At
might
the beginning,
die.
it said like I guess before everything was proven and like it was all mainstream, no knowledge that like there was a bunch of conspiracy theories about what was going on with Epstein's Island, which is so fucking crazy that we're always like conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory. Well, this was real. This wasn't a conspiracy.
Yeah, I wonder what the conspiracy theories were before, because this already was exposed. Like I said, they have a whole Netflix documentary
yeah,
on
that's what I'm
this.
saying. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh.
The only person who I met, I was like, this guy needs to be either put to death or kept like in a cage, like under the jail, was Ronald DeFeo, who the Amityville Horror House guy, because he said he would cook for him every morning, like clockwork, 7 days a week, every morning, bring Ronald his food and say, how was your night, Ronald? How you feeling? He was like, good, I feel good. I didn't kill my grandma. It's the only thing. I killed everyone in that house, but I did not get my grandma. But everything else, other than that, it's good. And Jerry would be like, okay. He would say to him, if I don't kill my grandma, I'm not getting into heaven. So he had it warped. He killed his entire family. He's like, that's how I get to heaven. But I got to get the grandma. And then he died in prison recently.
Whoa.
I never, Ronald, whatever that name was, kind of sounded familiar, but at the same time, like, doesn't. Like, I don't know.
What was it?
They had it somewhere in the beginning over here.
Ronald DeFeo,
So-
based on the Amity. What was it?
Amity
Amity-
Horror.
Okay.
Amityville Horror or
Yeah.
something. So he had something twisted in his mind where he thought he apparently had to kill his whole family to get into heaven. And he was telling this guy, like, I didn't kill my
And he
grandma,
said it
so I'm not going to make
so
it in.
nonchalantly that he killed everyone besides his grandma.
And that's why he can't make. That's crazy. That's just something not in balance in the mind, in the brain, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, you got psychopaths, sociopaths, this, that, serial killers. This is just like one of the craziest when you actually think you're doing good.
And did that guy interview him maybe? Because he said the one person that he would, either
Someone was
say
cooking.
needed
I don't know
to
if he was
be
in-
dead or locked in a cage under the jail.
I think he was talking about the story because he said I was talking to someone maybe at the jail. I don't know.
That's crazy.
We got a dog up here now. But yeah, that was a crazy one. Let me get the dog. Let the dog in real quick.
God.
Well, if you came in, now you gotta come
Now
up.
you're
Here you
gonna
go.
be
Go on
on
mommy's
camera.
lap.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have more? I think we do. Ready?
This girl was locked inside of a coffin-sized box for 7 years. In May 1977, Colleen Stan, a 20-year-old woman, was hitchhiking to a friend's birthday party when she accepted a ride from Cameron and Janice Hooker, a married couple with a young child. Instead of taking her to the party, the Hookers abducted Colleen and took her to their home in Red Bluff, California. For the next 7 years, Colleen was held captive in a small, coffin-like box. She was subjected to extreme physical and psychological abuse. Colleen was also brainwashed and manipulated into believing that an underground organization known as The Company would harm her family if she attempted to escape or seek help. Colleen's captivity ended in 1984 when she was allowed to visit her family. During this visit, she revealed her horrifying ordeal to her family, who immediately contacted law enforcement. Cameron Hooker was convicted of kidnapping and various sexual offenses and was sentenced to 104 years in prison.
Good. 104. That's a life sentence right there. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Just talking about psychopaths, sociopaths, all these things, like to kidnap a young girl and then keep her locked up, and for most of the time inside of a like little box, coffin-sized box or whatever.
God. I can just think of like, but she had to have like been fed and stuff.
That's how a lot of these people are. They, like he said, they brainwashed her into thinking that if she were to, I think, seek help or say anything, that this thing known as, I don't know if they said The Company or the whatever, would kill the family. I forget the way he exactly did it. Basically, it's brainwashed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's usually what happens over the course of going through this for such a long time. They brainwash you, and they basically, that's what people say, like, why don't they run away? Why don't they do this?
No, yeah.
It's because they are so conditioned to that lifestyle, and they are so, in a way, scared, but also brainwashed that they're stuck until sometimes an opportunity arises or something happens. That's a crazy story.
I'm sorry, I got a little distracted because of the dogs and stuff. How did that end up?
So the guy got 104 years in prison.
Okay.
So basically a life sentence when they caught them. I don't think they mentioned how they got caught unless I missed it.
Okay.
If they did, then let us know. If they didn't, let us know. Drop a comment if you know. If not, I'll do a little more research on that. 'Cause I don't think they mentioned how they caught it. I forget exactly. Yeah, that was a crazy one.
This boy is the youngest serial killer in the world. Amarjit Sada grew up in a poor farming town located in East India. Sada was forced to work by his father from a very young age and would spend the rest of his free time playing with his cousins and siblings in the street. In 2006, at the age of 8, driven solely by his desire to inflict pain on others, Sada would kill his first victim, his 6-year-old cousin. It's thought that Sada lured her to a field where he strangled her and beat her with a rock. A few months later, Sada would double his kill count using a brick to beat his 8-month-old sister to death. Sada's family soon became aware of his crimes, but decided to keep it a secret to protect the young boy and his future. However, 2 kills were not enough to satisfy Sada's sadistic urges. In 2007, at the age of 9, Sada would kidnap his neighbor's 6-month-old baby while she slept, before smothering her, beating her to death, and burying her in a shallow grave. Following this, the townspeople reported him to the police, where he was quickly arrested. Once in police custody, Sada smiled and showed no remorse for his actions. He was tried and placed in a mental asylum before being released on his 18th birthday to live as a free man, with his current whereabouts unknown. And that's why...
What the
Wait, they was released on his did they say 18th birthday?
Yeah.
What country?
I don't know.
What?
That is just so effing twisted. And it goes hand in hand what we were talking about. I don't know if it was the previous episode we just recorded or what. But parents hiding that the kid killed the sister and then the little 8-month, a 6-year-old and an 8-month-old, and then
because of his future. Like, yo, look at what he's doing right now. Live in the present.
just killed your family, your children.
He needs help.
Yeah.
I just want to know if this story is true, because this story is so out there that my brain is almost thinking it's not real, because I can't imagine
I know
that
the
being
court
true.
systems always like give the kids benefit of the doubt, like maybe I don't know.
But you have a young kid doing these crazy killings in a crazy fashion. You have the parents ignoring it. You have him getting out when he's like 18. None of that to me makes sense.
Went to a
if
mental,
it's true,
like
I don't even know if
first of all, it didn't even say if he may have just been born this way, because it didn't say he was abused as a kid.
Yeah, I have no.
I think he was just one of those rare people that are born as a psychopath, and
yeah.
like, how can you kill your little sister
How
or
old-
whatever,
did they say how-
6-year-old
Did
sister?
they say how old he was when he did that? They
I don't
definitely
know.
did, but
I don't know,
again, you
but
can
I
rewind
just
and see it.
my mind was blown. I couldn't even like continue to listen. And then the neighbor's baby, 6-month-old, beating them with, oh my God.
That is crazy.
Oh God, I can't. Sorry. All right, that was intense. That last one really got me. Like, I don't know. I couldn't even like watch it, but
We're gonna call it quits. That's gonna be the last video in this episode. We got Pretzel, our cute little Yorkie here. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to. Thank you. So mommy and daddy could keep making videos and I could keep being in them. If you guys enjoyed it, consider subscribing. If you haven't, we'll chat with you guys in the comments and
Yes.
see you in a very soon episode. Thank you.
all right, bye.